MedBricks webcast is a new kind of healthcare media channel to break the silo mentality and foster interdisciplinary thinking. Our mission is to fill that gap and to create a curiosity through different lenses, tapping the passion that guided the historical figures in medicine and bringing present-day groundbreaking research to the front lines. We interview physicians and leaders in the industry about present-day healthcare challenges on our live programming. Hey, welcome to the MedBricks webcast. This is Ramana Annamaraju. I'm the host of the MedBricks webcast. I'm not Albert Einstein. Maybe my guest is right now. So actually, I have, we have a wish you all Happy New Year. I hope 2024 is going to be better than 2023. I hope we are not going to have an economic recession. The Silicon Valley is going through I'm in Silicon Valley. It's going through some kind of a crisis. But I think we're going to get over with it. I'm going to introduce you. This is special. My live programming is going to start on January 10th with Sujin Lee, Dr. Sujin Lee, neuro rehab doctor. That's my premiere show. This is special. I'm doing for my good friend, Dr. Uli Chettipally, is a founder of InnovatorMD. He's an incubator and accelerator, and also he's an entrepreneur. He's a doctor, well-known physician in Silicon Valley. It's been a long year in the Silicon Valley area, and he got the recently San Mateo County Distinguished Science Award. Congratulations to him. We're going to tell him that, and then after that, I'm going to talk about a little bit of AI. We're going to talk about the InnovatorMD conference is coming up in January 11th to 13th. This 2 days is equivalent to almost same time as JP Morgan show. I attended one of the JP Morgan show. It's a show. It's nothing. It's a more of a. You'll be surprised to see JP Morgan's. People think so much about it from outsiders. Once you attend it, it's not that as you think. It's a more of a financial numbers to game. People who have already have the money, how to keep among themselves. I need to be honest with you. I want to be very brutal about it. It is not for if you are not $100 million worth of person you're not welcome there. Honestly, there is no place for you in JP Morgan show. So this is the places you need to come, and InnovatorMD is the great place to be part of the beginning show. So after that, I'm going to talk about a little bit of AI, and then about my journey, my personal journey, and then we say call off after that. Let me introduce you, Dr. Uli. So let me bring you Dr. Uli Chettipally to the line, and I already introduced you. He's a physician. He is an entrepreneur. He is the InnovatorMD founder and the president, and he is doing a 2-day conference, 3-day conference, 11 to 13. 2 days, and 11, 12, 13, 3 days, and then in person on 10th. So let me bring him. Dr. Chettipally, welcome to the MedBricks webcast.
Hi, Ramana. Thank you very much for having me. It's a pleasure to be on your podcast. It's a great honor.
Thank you, sir. Let me ask you, welcome, congratulations for your San Mateo Distinguished Science Award. A county is a very well-known county, actually. So they gave you the award. That's a great honor.
Yes, it is. It is a great honor and a privilege, to be able to serve the physicians in San Mateo County Medical Association. There are more than 1,000 physicians in San Mateo. If you think about, the effect of Silicon Valley and the effect of, the medical device and medical science industry, the digital health, and there's a lot of action going on in San Mateo County. So it's a privilege and an honor.
You are in the epicenter of that, actually. so you're
exactly.
So let me ask you. You have a lot of background on both sides of the coin. You're a physician. You provided services. You're a provider, and also you were on the other side of the coin, that entrepreneur, and then also you understood the
the journey of the all the entrepreneurs like me and startups and startup scene in Silicon Valley very well. A little bit explain to us a little bit about the people outsiders at least. What is Silicon Valley startup scene looks like, and what is your take on that? How they work in the Silicon Valley startup scene?
Yeah. So, there's no other place in the world like Silicon Valley. Silicon Valley is where, it's the birthplace of all the startups and especially the technology startups. There's definitely a role for technology to play in healthcare. And also, there is always good ideas that come from outside of healthcare, especially on the technology side and the biotech side. But the challenge is, how do you take, one side you have this, the technology where you implement real fast, iterate and then get it right as you go along. Whereas on the healthcare side, usually it's a lot of testing, a lot of evaluation, a lot of evidence generation before you actually implement. So there's a big difference in the approach to innovation on the healthcare side and also on the technology side. So what we try to do is we try to bridge that gap. And the gap is, how do you take technology and also be able to generate evidence and make it safe and where you can bring in better outcomes for patients and for physicians. And that's what we do, making that bridge between the two.
Dr. Uli, even I live in Silicon Valley. Even in this valley, even though it's a epicenter of technology and Stanford is here, there's two islands, healthcare and technology. Still, there's very few people like you who connects that bridges together. It is tell us a little bit about that. Is people think because we are in Silicon Valley, healthcare is all they understand. A lot of entrepreneurs don't understand healthcare. Who pays for it? What and who pays for it, and how does it the reimbursement structure, what the legal structures are, they don't know much about it. And then physician side, they don't understand the technology, the cost of technology, and the new things coming up in technology. They don't. So this is a big two islands, and there is no bridge in between. Not there is no strong bridge. People like you and very few people like you are available to gap that bridge, to connect that bridges.
Yeah. So if you think about healthcare industry is the largest industry in the country or in the world. We spend about $4.5 trillion.
Yeah.
And people don't understand how big that is. That is much, much bigger than the defense industry. That is much, much bigger than the IT industry. That is bigger than the whole economy of Germany,
Yeah.
of the whole country. It's bigger than UK's economy. It's bigger than India's economy. So it is so huge, the amount of money that we spend on healthcare. Healthcare is also the slowest to change. If you compare how fast the digital technology is changing, healthcare is probably the last industry to be disrupted by technology, digital health or information technology. If you look at just the information technology, that is the cutting edge of all industries, and whichever industry implements information technology, they move very fast and they are way ahead in the game. So you have one of the fastest industries on one side, and you have one of the slowest industries on the other side, and that's why you see this big gap. Now there's a lot we can learn from technology. The healthcare people can learn, and a lot we can improve using technology. But then the incentives have to be there. The encouragement for innovation has to be there. As long as we still are happy with what we have. When I say happy, not happy, but we put up with what we have in healthcare and are not concerned about, what is next and how do we make it better. And that's what I want to bring. That's how I want to bring these two together, is where, okay, what are the areas where technology can really improve healthcare, patient outcomes, and physician outcomes? That's my main goal with InnovatorMD.
I was listening to Nitin Shah from Stanford professor. He was talking about very interesting. He said that when they are doing a EMRs, electronic medical records, the physician were not in the equation. It's a produced by they improved the efficiency but not the productivity. The doctors still go through the same problem, same thing, because that they were not involved. So this always designed for insurance companies, maybe efficiency for some of the government to reimbursement structure. They want to understand the healthcare direction, but it is not. It didn't do much for the physicians. So what he was saying, that this is the time, because artificial intelligence everybody is talking about, they must involve this time in physicians. This is a high time physicians to be involved. It's do you agree with that, Dr. Uli?
Totally agree with that. So one of the things that we have seen is that physicians are, although physicians are the ones who have to lead the science of medicine, right? The science of medicine, again, if you think about, the population health, the statistics, all that will lead to machine learning and artificial intelligence as it gets better and better with time and with technology. So if physicians have to, physicians are the ones who understand the clinical science. So how do you apply these technologies to clinical science? A physician has to be involved in the driver's seat. And that is one of the things that we always encourage. When startups come to me, the first thing I ask is, do you have a physician on your team? Yeah. If you do not have a physician on the team, that means that it is harder for them to get into healthcare and actually make a difference. Having a clinician bring in that clinical input into a startup is of vital importance, because you don't want these people going off into the wrong direction and then having bad outcomes from that.
Dr. Uli, the reason I started this podcast, actually, I tell you the webcast, I started it because it is much harder for technology people to learn medical sciences, but it's easier for you to learn other aspects of the technology or the sciences or physics, the system engineering, systems health. It's much easier for physicians to learn. That's the reason, if they put a little effort, is already there. They're already in the final finish line. If they put a little effort in, you don't need that much help. Physician could be not only in the driver's seat, they could be running the jets, in that sense. So I will comment on that one. I would appreciate.
Yeah. So number one, yes, physicians can learn that, but it's not essential that you learn how to program or you learn how to technically do stuff. Yes. It's good to know that these things, how technology works and how it can help healthcare, understanding on how to translate clinical issues into technology or workflow issues, right? So they need to get out of their their pigeonhole, which is just seeing patients will not be enough anymore in the future. You need to be a physician who understands definitely clinical medicine, but also who understands the systems of healthcare. You should understand the business side of healthcare. You should understand the technology side of healthcare. That's how things get better. Otherwise, we will still be in the dark ages. Like you won't see any progress. And so,
Or worse, you can miss the boat. It's like a second time what you missed the AMR, you may miss the boat in the second. That's a bigger worse. That's a very disastrous consequences for that.
exactly. And we are already reaping the consequence of not being involved, because decisions are made without the physician at the table, and which makes it harder for them to live with it in the future, right? So like somebody else made a decision, and without having the physician involved, then it totally takes a different shape and form. And then physicians are wondering, how did we get into this situation? Where did we go wrong? And how come we are suffering because all these things have come down without their knowledge or without their input. That's where the problem is right now.
There's one more comment. The American healthcare system is a paradox. Is the life expectancy is going down. We are increasing. The cost is going up, and the patients are unhappy. The physicians are unhappy. Where do you think it's going wrong? Actually,
Yeah. So, wow.
it's a bigger question.
Yes. So we have seen that if you look at healthcare, I would put it into three big buckets. One is the clinical medicine side, the other is the business side, and of course the third is the technology. So far, what has been happening is that the business side of it is being it's being led by the business side. And whenever the business side leads, usually there is difficulty in pulling everything else together under that business umbrella, right? When you talk about when I'm talking about businesses, how do physicians get paid? How does the insurance work? Do we really need insurance? Who needs to pay? And what kind of reimbursement? Is it fee for service versus value-based care? So in each of these systems, business systems, the incentives are different. And when the incentives are different, the outcomes are different also. And so that is the scary part, is that if it's the business side that is leading the clinical side, then the clinical side suffers. So as you may have seen some of the data where physicians who are CEOs of hospitals, those hospitals function much better and have better outcomes. We have seen that, and I strongly believe in that, where it has to be led by clinical people. Just imagine, if it is a legal system, it has to be led by lawyers, not by anybody else. If it is a finance system, it has to be led by accountants. And so also a clinical system or a healthcare system needs to be led by physicians, because that is the bottom line of science that needs to be taken into consideration before the business side or the technology side can play a role.
There is a legal hurdle for that, right? As you know, that they won't allow the physicians to own all these hospitals. But let me ask you another very first principle question is that do we need hospitals why I need to go to the MRI to get in hospital where $5,000 is charged, where outpatient center charges $500? Why don't we make hospitals just episodic care and federally subsidized? The rest of the care should be decentralized everywhere else. What do you think of that model? Maybe that unnecessary cost going up for the patients, for this episodic care, that for that they want to cover that cost. The hospitals, they're doing other things. What is your opinion on that?
So if you look at the care continuum, so the most important care starts before you get sick, so which is preventive care. and care at home. So that's where it starts, and that's the most effective, cost-effective way of treating something, right?
Yes.
Whether it is diet, exercise, or taking preventive steps like vaccinations, whether it is screening tests, whether it is checking for risks that are commonly become very expensive on the other end. So from there, it goes to the clinics, right? Clinics is also not so expensive, but which when you come to the clinic, that means that you are past a certain stage where a disease process is already happening. And then if you think about hospitals, hospitals is the last stage
Yeah, correct.
where you are, where the disease process has gone so bad and it's become an acute problem where you have to intervene. And that is the most expensive part of healthcare delivery. So if you take care of the front end, the earliest part, which is if you can provide all these services, whether it is telehealth or whether it is AI providing these care nudges, if the person is able to stay healthy, that means you're pushing this farther down, which means that the cost of care will come down.
Correct.
And so that's why hospital care is so expensive, because it is the last stage, in the sense that all these other things failed. So hospital medicine is actually failed healthcare ending up in the hospital.
Yeah, that's sure. There is a lot of even though that you're right, the care before the hospitals, that should be a little bit of a quantifiable and decentralized, distributed. It is not there yet. We have a long way to go for that kind of a system to be achieved. That you are helping to Innovator MD. Let's talk about the Innovator MD, Dr. Uli. Tell me how we started it and what you're doing this year.
I just wanted to complete the thought process. This is where AI can be really helpful early on. It can figure out what are your risk factors. It can track your steps. It can track your calories. It can track what you're eating, how much exercise are you getting, what preventive steps you need to take. That's where AI can be really, really helpful, so that it can guide the person to better health. Talking about InnovatorMD, my favorite topic. The mission of InnovatorMD is that physicians and nurses and pharmacists and other healthcare people, they see problems firsthand when they're in their day-to-day work, right? When they see these problems, they come up with solutions. They come up with solutions which are unique, that nobody else has that kind of insight into the problem. And so those solutions are unique. But the problem is physicians don't have the time. They don't have the resources to be able to bring that solution to the market. They don't have the knowledge. They don't have the connections that you need. And so to solve that problem, we started InnovatorMD. And the mission of InnovatorMD is to bring the people who are actually delivering healthcare, when they come up with solutions, how do we encourage that? How do we create a platform for those solutions to come to the world, to come to the market? So we start with teaching innovation. So we do master classes and meetups and conferences, and we highlight the great things that physicians are doing, because they don't have a place to go and to talk about innovation. And so we created that space, that platform. And then the second thing we do is we created this community around physician innovation. And so they can, interact with others and learn from others and collaborate with others, right? And also propagate, good practices and good ideas so that more people can implement it. And the third thing is, how can we get them funded, right? And so we have investors, angel investors, and other people that can help them fund. The fourth thing is partnerships. How do they develop partnerships with other organizations and healthcare entities where those innovations can be implemented? And so we went out with this, building this total ecosystem for innovation around the people that work in healthcare. That's the idea behind InnovatorMD. And
Yeah.
by the way, we do have an accelerator also. People who have, early ideas, and they can come and, go through 16 weeks of training and coaching, mentorship, so that they can build that idea into a product or a company.
Yeah, so I just I put your innovatormd.com. I think I did it right. So that and your name under the name it shows up there, innovatormd.com. So
Sure.
so you're doing any? What are the speakers? Who are the speakers now for this MD conference?
Oh yeah. So we have a lot of speakers. I, I can't even list them. 30 plus speakers from all walks of life, all specialties are involved, all stages of innovation. We have innovation in the idea stage to all the way to somebody who's really established and has changed a huge company. For example, Robbie Pearl is at this top end where he has really changed Kaiser Permanente into what it is today, especially the physician part of Kaiser Permanente, the Permanente Medical Group, which is the largest medical group in the world. And so he led that transformation to make it into a premier group and a premier company. So he's going to talk about his experience and how things are going to change in the future. Artificial intelligence is on everybody's mind, and people are scared about it. Like any other technology, it needs to be harnessed, it needs to be trained, it needs to be monitored, it needs to be tested to make sure that it is doing the right thing, because technology is just a tool, AI is just a tool, and if you use the tool the wrong way, it can do some damage. And so how do we learn about it and implement it and test it and then validate it?
One of
That's
the
where we are
architects of
going.
the AI, sorry, Stanford, Nitin Shah was saying, is that this time hype about the AI is just probably it is escape velocity. It is reaching these sort of proportions, higher. That's what he is concerned. IIT chief, one of the architects of the AI, was concerned about the hype about AI.
Definitely, we have seen these hype cycles, right, for different things, but when the hype cycle comes down, there is some residual good stuff that is left behind, and I can see that happening. I have a few companies, portfolio companies, that are actually doing AI work, where the rubber meets the road, right?
Yes.
That's where most of the work happens, and then it happens very slowly. It doesn't happen as fast as what Silicon Valley venture capitalists expect it to be. This is not information technology. This is healthcare, and so things move very slowly. Even though there is a lot of hype, they do move very slowly. And so I'm saying that it will definitely play a major role in the future. But how fast we get there or how slow we get there is the question, and making sure that it is safe and effective and validated.
Truly, you're a great father, and your wife, both of them are great parents. You have a great daughter, Siri. You put a lot of posts you do on LinkedIn and every place. And this is a she's in the autism spectrum. So you started a company, the Sirica Therapeutics. You started it. So that's tell us a little bit about that, the therapeutics, how you started, what inspired you because of your personal thing that you
Yeah.
did. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about it if you don't mind.
Yeah. So, yeah, we do have a daughter and two sons. My daughter has autism spectrum disorder. She was diagnosed when she was 3. So most of her life and our parenting lives was affected by this disorder. And so autism spectrum disorder is, you know, now CDC estimates that 1 in 36 births is going to have this diagnosis. And the rate of which we see these people has been increasing. The number of children that are being diagnosed with autism. So we are seeing an increase in incidence and prevalence. And the growth is about 8% per year for the last 20 years. So it is one of the fastest growing developmental disability, and it is overtaking all the other disabilities in children. And nobody knows exactly why or how this happens. So it's one of the biggest challenges, and it's going to get bigger as time goes on. And so I've been thinking about this problem. I've been researching, most of my professional life because I was personally involved. So when I started thinking about solutions for autism, I came upon this technology where you can take virtual reality, robotics, and video gaming, and we created this therapeutic system. It's a digital therapeutic that we devised and designed for autism. And when we start using this system, we realized that, wow, this could be a game changer. Autism therapy has been very difficult and challenging, especially the behavior therapy, the occupational therapy, speech therapy. Those are very difficult therapies to provide because it is person dependent and one-on-one. There's scarcity, the cost is high. And so there's a lot of turmoil among families that I've seen, where you're spending 20, 30, even 40 hours a week of therapy for the child. And so I was looking at what alternatives are there. There are no drugs so far that have been approved for autism treatment. There are other generic drugs that are used for various symptoms, but then drugs also have side effects. So digital therapy is probably a very clean way of providing therapy, if we can prove that it works. And so we have done, we finished our first clinical.
Cost effective, right?
Exactly, very cost effective. We have done our first study in 9 individuals with autism, looking at safety and feasibility. And it's definitely feasible and it's definitely safe. So we are raising our pre-seed round. And then we are going to do our next study this year, which is looking at efficacy. We are going to recruit, 25, 30 individuals with autism and take them through this therapy for 4 to 6 weeks and see, how effective is this treatment. And once we know that, we can bring it to the market probably next year.
There are a lot of autism families around the world. This is, all blessed. Your daughter is blessed to have parents like you, that, and also vice versa. And a great daughter you
Thank
have
you.
to really, this is a kind of a thing that autism families go through. It is a personal thing. It is a quite personal. So you're doing a great job in that direction. So InnovatorMD is starting, and is 11th is morning in the morning. What time it starts?
Yeah, so Innovator MD conference, Innovator MD Global Summit starts at 8 a.m. PST to 12 noon again PST. It's on Zoom. It's on over the internet. But we do have a reception on the 10th. Hope we can see you there. The 10th evening in Burlingame in our office. So we are hosting a reception. So please invite your guests and your audience to come see us there. So that's like kicking off this conference. So the reception is in person. The conference is online. So anybody from anywhere can log in and join. They don't have to be a physician. They can be anybody interested in healthcare, startups, students, nurses, administrators, investors, because we lined up a good startup showcase where we are bringing in and curated startups to come present during the conference, the last day of the conference. But there are amazing speakers. This is the cream of the crop, I should say. Amazing thinkers and doers. So I'm very excited about this
Highly
conference.
recommended. I attended last year. It's absolutely wonderful. I always recommend. This is a great resource. InnovatorMD is one of the great resources from Silicon Valley. I always highly recommend it. Thank you so much, Dr. Uli. It's a pleasure talking with you.
Thank you, Ramana. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, sir. Yeah. Have a nice day.
Yeah,
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that Dr. Uli Chettipally, that is InnovatorMD president. Okay, now let us talk about little bit about my journey. Um, I want to talk about a little bit about everybody is always asking about me. I've been doing this podcast. What is the purpose of the podcast is? So the reason is, it's just I was mentioning to the Dr. Woolley about that. It is easier for doctors to learn other things, at least to get exposure to other things, than the IT people learning medical field. That is what my goal is, to bring you to this side, because I understand. I've been so that. Then the second question is, how do you know about what is my personal background? A lot of people know me, but still, I'm going to give you a little bit about my personal background. I have a master's in physics. Physics is the mother of all sciences. Yesterday I was listening to one of the physics conference. That guy said that if there's a TB problem, CDC has a TB problem, they need to go to the physicist. There is a molecular biology came from physics, actually. So physics is if you want to know, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, they're all physics students. They are graduates of the physics. You know that? They studied, actually, Jeff Bezos studied quantum physics. Elon Musk is a physics student. So physics is always center of the universe and the epicenter for all the sciences. So if you understand from the physics point of view, you can solve a lot of problems. So that is my goal. I bring a lot of mathematical aspect of it, physics, and then healthcare, because I understand healthcare. How do I know healthcare? I started, 1980s. I was going in a train. I finished my degree in. I have a master's in physics, and then I did a lot of masters in computer science. I was studying then nuclear engineering. I studied in Canada, United States, and so I've been to a lot of places. But what I learned in the healthcare is that I was doing first in the billing side. I was doing a Medisoft billing. I was a functional designer for the Medisoft billing package. I'm the first Medisoft printing ICFA form, 1,500 forms. I'm involved during those days. After that, I slowly learned about medical devices. There is a guy, Tom Stockton, from Florida, taught me how to do the about medical devices. My father is a teacher. He's an English teacher in a small village, and then he became a doctor because there is nobody there. He is self-taught medicine in that villages, or registered medical practitioners they call, registered to RN, equivalent to RN here. But they are the only doctors there. There's no other doctors in that town. So my father was an amazing, he's a curious, with his curiosity. I have 4 brothers and 2 sisters. They all went to different parts of the world. They're in different, their children, grandchildren, they're all over around the world now because of my father in a small village. He has amazing, inspired so many doctors. He became a doctor, and then he was going to my other grandfather's place to learn a medicine. I used to hang around with him good together, and I saw X-rays at the time. So I was exposed, during those times, and I saw first time Johnson and Johnson, those things, that their surgical things, plaster that came out. So I'm from very, very backward village, a small remote village in India. That I'm from a very remote. We don't have running water. We don't have electricity. So I learned the healthcare from that low resource point of view, low resource settings. I learned healthcare. So then when I came to the United States, I did a computer science. So I did a lot of coding for this Medisoft, and I did help them functional design the Medisoft billing package. After that, I was in Atlanta. I used to own then I learned about medical devices. I slowly learned the EKGs, ultrasounds, CT scanners, and everything. I started selling them. Then I started my own imaging center for a while. Then I was involved. Then I was involved helping people to come down from California and Florida, doctors to come and open HMOs and IPAs in Atlanta area. So I was involved in the administrative side of the HMOs, instrumental in helping them in HMO side, putting a lot of meetings together. So I was involved in all aspects of healthcare. Then I started selling medical devices. So I got a good experience. That's where I said that, I'm not a provider, I'm not a doctor, but I have a lot of background in understanding where you come from. Then I started placing a lot of J1 physicians with all backgrounds, gastroenterologists, cardiologists, the family practitioners, internal medicine in rural areas, urban settings where the physician patient population ratio is low. So that is where I learned the healthcare. After that, I just became slowly learned, and I thought, this is a time to implement the physics of the healthcare. The physics is so valuable in healthcare; it's absolutely needed. I can tell you, this is what you need to really. Physics really gives you the insights. So I started MedBricks platform. MedBricks platform is basically a disrupting space and time of healthcare. What is space and time in healthcare? Space is like a silo structures in healthcare. Big hospitals, clinics. That should be decentralized. You need to disrupt that space part of it. There's no fixed space. It's all relative. Space and time is relative. So space, you have to disrupt the space part of it. That means, we need to shake the silo structures of the healthcare systems. Time, because people get sick all the time, 7/24. So care should go home. There must be way to decentralize the care system and provide the care to the home in every 7/24 when they need it, what they need it. Not that we need to wake up and you need to be 7/24 waiting for them like hospitals do. You can do that without doing those kind of big silo structures. So space and time disruption, I thought about it through the physics concept, quantum physics concept. Another concept I got through quantum physics is observer's reality. What is observer reality? Until in physics, it says that through the quantum physics measurement problem is, unless you observe something, it is not real. It doesn't become real. Electron becomes real as it needed. As you observe, it becomes real. Otherwise, it exists in all functional, in all possible locations, possible paths. So what is the best way to do? Until a patient requires a particular need, there's no need for us to be particularly, you don't need to know what time the pharmacy is open or not, what time the clinic is open or not. All those things doesn't matter. Is as it needed, it comes to you. That is solves a lot of problems. So we need to reshift the focus and reimburse, and then change the reimbursement structure according to that. We need to change the entirely the fee for service model, change that model to the space and time disruptive model, to this one. That's why my MedBricks platform, that's what I started it. So I learned through a lot of experience interacting with the thousands of doctors. Then I have this podcast, and I'm trying to give these ideas to doctors to understand the system's health. It's very important. Understanding physics really helps you really to look at the different angle, different perspective. So I'm a lot of a beautiful program coming up this month. I have a. Let me show you what the programs are doing. My premiere show is going to start with Sujin Lee on January 10th, Wednesday, next Wednesday, because that is she's a neuro rehab doctor. It's a neuro rehab physician. January 10th is starting. So we're going to talk with her about. She's a physician coach, and she's telling us she will help us to for the doctors to do side business to create a parallel income. So you must watch that. Then another intro. One of my favorite doctors is Dr. Manju Dawkins. Is going to be coming there. She is a thimble. She's a innovator. She's a board certified dermatologist. What she is doing is she came up with a patch that is a painless needle. People who are scared of needles, there's lots of them. Lots of them. Not only kids, I see the adults getting scared of needles. So this is she has a painless needle program. So patch is coming up with that you must watch. That's very fascinating. If you have children particularly, you should watch that. And then after that, my other favorite guest, she's third time returning champion, Susan Davis is coming. I'm going to talk about on the day. Oh, by the way, Sujin Lee, I'm going to talk about, let me explain to you what I'm talking about Sujin Lee Day. I'm going to talk about, Sujin Lee, the most beautifully, I do a presentation in the middle of that, after the interview, the physicians, I do a presentation of something related to the healthcare. So with the Sujin Lee, I'm doing the most beautiful equation in medicine on tombstone. You must watch it. What is the most beautiful mathematical equation in medicine that is inscribed on the tombstone. Okay, that is going to be very interesting to watch. The next one is on the Manju Dawkins Day. I'm going to 3 women made a journey into 1885. They made a journey into the United States from India, Syria, and Turkey, Syria, India, Japan. These 3 countries, first time foreign medical women graduates took a journey. At the time, there are no planes, there are no automobiles. Forget about planes. There are no automobiles. There is no electricity, no automobiles, no inside plumbing. Even the United States, I'm talking about. So they made an arduous journey across the oceans to the ship. They came down here. That's going to be very interesting. 3 women into the FMG graduates. The next one is on the Manju Dawkins Day. Susan Davis, I'm going to talk about a very interesting yogurt wars. You need to watch that. It's the funniest show. This is going to be funny because this is going to revolutionize the medicine if you really understand this. What the yogurt the war started with the yogurt may revolutionize the medicine. That is a suspense. You have to watch it to tell us the entire thing. The next thing, that's going to be funniest show also. That's going to be very funny. The next one, Susan Davis is going to be there. Then a doctor, he's one of my mentor and a respected physician, distinguished professor. Dr. Suresh Mukherjee is going to be there. He is on January 24th. He's coming. I'm going to talk about polymath physicians. So that's exactly what I'm talking with Dr. Uli. Doctors need to be a little bit more doing other things, not only just they need to be experienced in all other aspects, understanding little mathematics, little physics. So polymaths are the people who knows a little bit of other things. They may not be expert, in the past they're experts in everything. Now, you may not be expert in everything. At least you need to know, you need to get exposure, not a one side. Jack of all trades is good nowadays. So you need to, that's what the polymath physicians are. And the new physicians are going to be all those new kind of polymath physicians, neo polymaths. We're going to, Sanjay Gupta, as you all know, is from Atlanta, Georgia. I know him. And his brother is also a lawyer, but he is doing a, that he is doing some nutritional things he did. So they're all different things. So is a doctors doing different things. Polymath physician, I'm going to talk about. Dr. Suresh Mukherjee is a professor of radiology and radiation oncology. We can talk about cancer, what's going on the radiology side, advances. He's going to talk with us. Then on the and the last one is Doug Drummond is a happy MD, a physician, is a coach, is a physician coach. He's talking about. Then let us talk about it. See what that every we need a we need some organizational structures. We need to change the organizations, the way they treat the thing is going on in with the doctors. Is a lot of pressure going on. One of the things is when I came to this country, most of the doctors are independent practitioners. They do their own things and everything. Now they're working for corporations. They see the effects of the corporation, stress of the corporation. They feel it. That's why it is a stress that is creating a lot of this dissatisfaction among physicians. That's one of the factors. And after the fact is this AI and all these things, the new Silicon Valley threats and everything. So you got to watch that. And how do you solve these problems? How do you individually cope up with these kind of problems? So then after that, I'm going to talk about very interesting, very mysterious subject: life, death, God in numbers. How do you how can you come back with the numbers for that? So it's going to be a very interesting month. January month is full. So my premiere show is going to start in January 10th with the Sujin Lee. Please attend all of them. So let us talk about, my AI thing, about a little bit of my AI. Okay. So I have a double-edged, that's I have two different opinions. Yeah, it's a very good tool. It gives a, but yeah, let us talk about LLMs, large language models. LLMs are, this is the guy who is his name is Jan LeCun. Jan LeCun. He's a chief architect of the AI for the Meta, Facebook, and he's also a professor. He's a very, very important architect of the AI systems. He said that LLMs are incredibly stupid. That's what he said. Because what his argument is, because an entity knows the language, human language, doesn't mean that you do that is intelligent. So intelligence is very different. So intelligence is something, it's very complicated to describe intelligence. That's the first thing. Because some entity knows the language doesn't mean that they're equivalent to the humans. We have 100 billion neurons and a trillion connections. There's no way we eat two sandwiches. You need a 4 Niagara Falls power required to match that human intelligence. I can tell you that. So that AI can help us. That's sure. Then I'm talking about another important the woman, very Silicon Valley rock star. She is. Her name is Mary Lou Jepsen. She's talking about Silicon Hospital. She's trying to, I know that people are hearing about. She's at least qualified and well respected in Silicon Valley. After Theranos, we all have a very bad taste in the mouth. That is a. But she is saying that she can cure cancer, she can prevent strokes and all those things. So let us see how it goes. But at least she is a very qualified woman. She's talking about Silicon Hospital. It's a very it's different kind of a technology they're going to use it. Silicon Hospital is. So Mary Lou Jepsen. So you got to Open Water she's the CEO for the Open Water. Then and so that is for the days. So it's going to be exciting, guys. I want you to all attend, please, my show. It is, please support us. This time, I did a whole year without any funding. I'm going to ask you small subscriptions to help us. To do the very small subscriptions. You all do that. It takes a lot of work to do this programming, particularly presentations. It is a very useful. If you're interested in that area, then you can go and expand your knowledge in that area. So I need your help. IT guys help each other. I'm not. This is a problem with the Indian face. Indians are a lot of doctors, and Indians are a lot of technology people. I'm not a technology guy. I'm a physician advocate and physician, things that I do. So I am trying to help the physician community. So this is the one I want to bring all of you here, and thank you for all your great wishes. I got a great compliments. Your reviews are wonderful. Thank you all. It's an amazing reviews I got. Thank you all. So good night, and wish you all the best. Happy New Year again, and see you all. And then so buy my shirts and everything. Let that be one of the things that my things coming up. Daily wear for medicine.com, this clothing line, and all these pharmaceutical companies and medical device companies, instead of giving them stupid pants, they can give these kind of knowledge-based systems. They can talk about Mary Curie. They can talk about Paul Dirac and all these very, very important people that, Florence Nightingale, all of them that I have. I created the t-shirts and the coffee cups and some swag I created, give them. The pharmaceutical companies, medical device companies should give to these doctors to that, and they can give to their children that see t-shirts. They can inspire. Science is the inspiration to science. Thank you all. Good night, and see you on January 10th, my premiere show. Thank you so much. Good night.
We are retelling their stories through our patented designs that can be worn on scrubs, t-shirts, printed on conference bags, and endless other promotional materials. Daily Wear for Medicine is the first ever of its kind to create curiosity in medicine through visual art. We at MedBricks are celebrating unsung heroes of the past who made enormous contributions to the field of medicine through our unique campaign called Daily Wear for Medicine. You can wear it, carry it, and give it.